trying to run on a giant hamster wheel. We had one of those in the dangerous crap that can kill you park in my Illinois hometown in the 70s 80s. I love that stupid thing. Amazing I never broke a limb or my face. Null playgrounds used to be fucking lit. Null playgrounds used to be like nom but for kids. Null the fact that my kids will almost certainly be the last generation to even experience a merry-go-round is fucking sad. Playgrounds have changed so much back in the 80s. My primary school had a big merry-go-round we could spin so fast that kids would get flung off it randomly because hanging on was almost impossible. It was the best fun and nobody ever got that badly hurt that they wouldn't go back for more. Good times. It hurt just enough to want to go again. True fun has a bit of risk. Null baby when it's love, if it's not rough it isn't fun. I am pretty sure it has shit like that is gone because of the uprise or just a Karen suing them. Lawsuits who wanted to complain or make money of the matter and ruin it for millions. I remember going to my park and I kept on searching. I couldn't find the little merry-go-round I was at. Null sounds like Indian food. Null seriously, there was one of those giant ones at my grandparents' lake house. At the end of every summer growing up we had this huge barbecue and after it about 20 of us kids who grew up together would get on the damn thing and spin the fucker until only one remained. Kids would be flying in every direction. Chunky barbecue puke covered everyone and everything, and anyone who wasn't injured from their ejection would join to help spin the damn thing even more. It really was one of our fondest memories of childhood. I remember going back when my grandmother died and they had removed it. Such a generational loss. Yes. I remember those merry-go-rounds. Though a kid at my school ruptured his spleen on one of the bars. Null ow. My pancreas. Null growing up. My neighborhood park had a merry-go-round. Before it was removed and replaced with some boring monkey bars after I moved out of town, when I was 8. I was there with my mom and my best friend. And all the teenagers liked to hang out and do stupid shit in the park. Like spin the merry-go-round as fast as they could make it go. Or use the swing set to make a gauntlet to run through. Null being the little kids we were. My friend and I thought they were the coolest people ever. So when they offered to let us come on the merry-go-round, we climbed right on. My friend was able to get a seat on the inside. But I wanted to show how daring and cool I was. So I took a seat on the outside and clutched onto that rickety metal bar for dear life as the teenagers started to spin the wheel. Null, it was all fine and dandy at first. Until the merry-go-round started to rock from the weight of me and like 8 teenagers hanging off the edge and almost no one on the other side. We were going so fast at that point that I was starting to feel dizzy and sick. But the teenagers were hollering and whooping up a storm. So I gritted my teeth and stuck it out. Then someone shouted to go faster. Null, the teens grabbed an onlooker to help spin. And the merry-go-round accelerated to speeds that could have flung me into orbit. Having said that, I was feeling sick and scared instead of having fun. And I wanted off. At first, I yelled that I had to stop. But they either didn't hear me or didn't care. So I decided to take matters into my own little hands. And started wriggling my body towards the edge. Null, now I was already on the outside. And had been sitting with my knees up and holding the metal bar with all limbs, legs locked. Arms locked. Because if I hadn't I would have flown off. That being said, I was now only holding on with my arms. So my legs could try and reach the ground. Which was rapidly spinning below us. The merry-go-round was also rocking like crazy from the teenagers using their weight to make it rock more intensely. So I was flying up and down like a pogo stick. Bouncing on and off the surface of the ride. Null, after a solid 2 minutes of trying to worm my way off, I decided I wasn't patient enough to keep trying the precise and safe way. So I just let go of the bar after thinking my flight path was clear. Null, nope. At the speed we were going, the spot I had my eye on had passed by the time I let go. And instead of careening onto empty wood chips, I slammed my skull directly into the metal support pole of the climbing gym. Ouch. Null, I couldn't even register what had happened for a moment. Until the searing pain in my upper lip told me that I'd crashed into something at stupid high speed. And the liquid I felt suddenly rushing down my face was my own blood. Then I started screaming. And the trip to the park was over. Null, the speed at which I'd been launched from the demonic merry-go-round had sent me flying into the metal pole hard enough that I knocked off the edge of my adult front tooth. Which had only just come in. We never got the chip fixed because it's barely noticeable now. But it does provide a fun story to tell. Null, that merry-go-round, and image of the pole rushing at my face, still haunts me to this day. I am pretty sure it's seared into my brain. Still, that merry-go-round was fun as hell. Had a merry-go-round in the park as a kid. Joined a ride with teenagers who started spinning it into orbit. Wandered off. So just let go and flew into a metal pole. Chipped a tooth. Half a regret. No, that is a long story. But quite well told. Thank you. Yeah. When I saw how wordy it was getting, I decided to spare you all and added merciful paragraph breaks. It's 1:17 a.m. right now and I tell long stories when I am tired but avoiding going to bed. Anyway. Story length aside. Thanks for enjoying. Nola Mao. I scrolled down to see the funny comments. Saw that. Audibly said whoa and skipped to this. I trust you. No, that was a wonderful story and I didn't get past the first sentence. Going to downvote. Because I can. Null, you confuse me, but I did add in a TLDR. Null, I created another account just to downvote you again for the TLDR. Null, I created no new account just to reply to your alternate account because I am lazy. We had one in a forest park near me. It was raised about a meter off the ground. At a slight angle and it was just a flat surface with nothing to hold onto but the edge. Kids would get thrown off or sucked under and it was great fun. Sadly it's not there anymore, but I can kinda see why. Null, I broke my arm on one in 1992. They're fun but extremely dangerous. Null used to hang on for dear life, regretting every decision, thinking you were going to become mangled just to go again every single day. Null, back when kids learned responsibility early. Whoever was oldest in the group was in charge and would get a butt chewing if something went wrong. We had metal horse swings. Just big stupid metal horses on a swing set. If any kid had ever been hit by one, they would have died for sure. One day I noticed the nut holding the front bars that connected the horse to the swing set was loose, so after a while I managed to unscrew it and get the screw out. And I put a pencil where the screw had been. Got on the other horse and waved over my brother and bet him that he couldn't rock as fast as me, and he jumped on. The pencil broke. And he bagged himself. And I felt like Lex Luthor. I was so proud of myself. I had been waiting weeks for a perfect chance to get back at him for smashing me in the nuts with a tether ball, and the plan unfolded so perfectly. I worked for my town's park district one summer in college. Some don't even have wood chips anymore on the ground. It's all bouncy rubber. It's like a big bubble-wrapped playground. Null, I prefer it. If they could bring back all the dangerous stuff but keep the rubber tarmac so that you can run faster. I prefer not falling into the ground and becoming a splinter farm. Null, they should just bring back all the dangerous stuff and rubberize it so you just bounce back up from it and not injure your fanny. All that you know, the Ukras are going to have a field day with this one, right? 'Cause I said the word fanny? Did I spell it wrong or something? Null, in the UK and Australia, fanny is old slang for vagina. Null, nope. You spelled it correctly. But it means vag to them. Not butt. My school's playground was filled with little round rocks about the size of a pea. Dirty little fuckers. Plus trying to run on those things was like trying to run through, I don't know, maple syrup. Oh yes. Pea gravel. Wonderful stuff, wasn't it? My local park has a merry-go-round. It's just not as dangerous. I like how people like shit just because of nostalgia. No, there are still a couple of the old ones that you can spin crazy fast at local parks around here. My kids, 10 and 13, have grown up with them. But we've seen a couple suddenly disappear too. Without warning. Which is always sad. Null, you only have 2 kids and a couple of them disappeared? That is pretty sad. Thank God my grandparents used to live by a old playground. I have so many memories of going there and flinging myself off of it at lightning speeds, lol. Thank God I was never hurt that bad. Sad to know that actually fun playgrounds are dying out. And sad that my grandparents moved to the country, so I have no excuse to go to that playground anymore. I am the very first line of Gen Z generation and so glad that I got to enjoy a lot of the shits that Gen X and Y had in their childhood. Got no idea how we survived the kind of playground we had like until grade 3 or 4. After those years, suddenly playgrounds and parks were transformed and a lot of stuff's removed. Now we can't even find a damn seesaw or slide at schools. It's just sad. Wait, no slides. The fuck? Parks are still the same way for the most part in my area, even at the schools. Heck, my elementary school still has its 20 feet slide and firefighter pole. There are still slides, just none of the big ones. They're all twisty and curvy. Which are fun. Yes, but they aren't the same. They aren't just big, tall, steep, fast metal slides. I tried to convince my dad for a while we needed one of them in our yard to contemplate the giant swings. Fuck, I forgot about giant swings. I guess if anything has gone, it's those. I used to launch off of those at full swing so high and far. Null, this is in our yard. Null, wait, hold on. Ahem, that's a mood. And that is 6 months too late. But whatever. Sue me. I got bills. I ain't got time to say all the lingo. Null, I damn near broke my back on one of those huge seesaws when the other dude jumped off. Null, isn't that what seesaws are for? Null, I mean, it's almost as sad as the kids who died on them. Null, they died for a higher purpose. Tried looking and cannot seem to find any evidence of kids dying on merry-go-rounds. Other than teenagers imitating Jackass. Null, other than teenagers imitating Jackass, does that not count somehow? Null, your comment makes them seem like death traps. As long as you don't tie a car to the merry-go-round and make it spin far faster than was ever intended, then the odds of anyone dying on one are essentially zero. Natural selection. Son, God forbid they ever ride a bicycle. That is a death machine. Don't even get me started on actually walking, they could trip. Null, at some point, a balance has to be struck. We can bubble wrap our kids and protect them from every last possible hazard. I remember walking alone to school in 2nd grade, a good half-mile each way. Nowadays that shit would get CPS called on my parents. Just seems like maybe we were being a bit too overprotective and not setting them up for success in the real world when the bubble wrap comes off. Null, I'd about dying, but my brother destroyed his knee ligaments in one when he was a kid. Couldn't practice most sports throughout his childhood and most of his teenage years. I feel like this is what boomers say when they see how we've regressed. I feel like every generation for the last 100 years has been saying this. The smell of burning flesh as a kid goes down the giant metal slide on a hot summer day while wearing shorts. My primary school had all metal play equipment, including the longest, tallest slide of my childhood. All parked under the Western Australian sun for lunchtime play. And kids' shorts were super short in the late 70s. So plenty of burning flesh. Charlie, don't swing. Survival of the fittest. Mechanical contraptions of doom galore. I fell right through the jungle gym monkey bars, the absurdly tall one shaped like a tiered tower, from the very top, clanking all the way down. Explains a lot. Really? You mean No, I've always been afraid of slides because of sitting on a too hot metal one and burning myself as a kid. That and sand because a kid threw sand in my face at the bottom of a slide when I was a kid. You sound like the kid who couldn't dodge a wrench either. Null, Mill Creek Park, Willingboro, NJ. Had just an insane amount of dangerous attractions back in the 80s and 90s. Giant dome made of cast iron pipe. Greater than 15 feet in the air. 2 poles 20 feet up secured by a chrome ball with a bell, and my favorite, just a random collection of railroad ties for balancing and walking. The pinnacle of danger was thing all the kids sit on and one beefed up dad would spin. This thing was enormous. 10 grown men could get on this thing and never touch each other. I distinctly remember kids just giving up and letting go and ragdolling their way to black eyes and busted lips. The good old days. We had yards all lit with ambulance lights. Splinters though. Go, they're fucking pathetic these days. Oh, joyous slide. Same. I should be dead. Some are. We had one, but it was wide. It looked like a giant wooden barrel, probably as wide as 3 or 4 of the one in the video. If you were a kid in the middle and fell, the rest of the kids could keep it going and you'd tumble until you knocked down another kid, and the process would repeat until the runners couldn't keep it going or everyone fell. I don't think I went to the park once without kids leaving it crying. You don't leave the playground crying. You're doing it wrong. In the 90s in Illinois we used to have this giant wood park that was an absolute killer. Fucking loved that park. That park was massive. Claimed a lot of broken bones in its day. Tore it down and put up a plastic one. No, we used to have an actual decommissioned tank at our park. Definitely some sharp edges to it. We had one. But it was way smaller. So you pretty much had to crawl or hunch while running, and it was impossible to build up enough momentum to hurt yourself. No, I don't remember where I saw or read that these new safer parks are not as good as those old parks back in the days. There's a New York Times article about it. I think. Something about the development of a child. Lol. When I was a kid, we had a climbing frame that was over grass. About 3 feet away was a concrete path with a sharp edge against the grass. You bet your ass I swung from the climbing frame and cracked my skull open on that concrete edge. Got my skull glued back together good. Null, 'tis but a minor concussion. Don't think people were meant to run this fast on these wheels either. Well, I miss the days of natural selection. Could you imagine an action park opening in the US now? For some reason trampoline parks are still a thing though, and there are kids getting paralyzed from those constantly. Now I have a lot more of respect for my hamster. Pudding. Null added a comma, null added second M to the first edits, comma woe. I'm not sure if you guys like hamsters. Pudding or weird ways to edit comments, but thanks. That's a cute name. Hamster pudding probably doesn't expect respect anymore. Possible COVID-19 cure though. My classes, and most of my professional assignments, got cancelled thanks to the virus, and so he gets more attention and more time outside the cage. Why would he want a cure? Only one way to find out. Puddings can't run on wheels. Thanks for pointing. I'll just making a joke. Have a good one. You too, friend.
Hey Cobber, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button if you enjoyed the content.